welcome to a new video. Today is the beginning of Impact Speedfest. It's a 3-day event. It actually started last night on Friday night, where they kind of held the opening ceremony and kind of like presented all the different car groups. It's a massive event, first time that it's held here in Bangkok. It's a brand new show trying to bring all the different facets of car culture here in Thailand together. And let me tell you, Thai culture is extremely vast. It's vast and very unique in the fact that, you know, being so closed by the fact that they don't really communicate in English so well, they've kind of created their own little take, a unique little subculture in the Southeast Asia region. And that has spawned some incredible builds, some incredible ways of tuning cars. But it's all legit, it's all done so well, and there's so much to see, so many types of cars. And I'm just gonna dive in. It's an open type of event, a massive exhibition space. There's a lot of covered areas for the sponsors and the big companies that support the event. And there's so much to see. So without further ado, I'm just gonna start walking the show and show you guys what is on display today and for the rest of the weekend. So the first place here is the pavilion area. It's a sort of covered space, kind of showcasing the best of the best, more kind of geared towards a high-end side of things. And like I said, you'll be surprised by the mix of cars, starting off with this beautiful Alfa Romeo Giulia GTV. The thing is, there's a massive Alfa Romeo scene here in Thailand, and there's actually a bunch of cars that have assembled today. They're going to swap out some of the display areas every day, so you get a mix of cars coming in every day, so it keeps it kind of fresh for people to visit it the entire weekend. And there's one car here that I got to show you. It's a Lamborghini Huracan Trofeo, but when you would think this is just a regular race car, you go look at the spec sheet and it actually tells you it's running a Honda engine. This is a turbocharged engine out of an FL5, I believe, fully modified. I think it's about 500-600 horsepower. You can't really see it under there, but you can kind of gauge it. It's definitely not the V10. And it's got a sequential, it's a proper race car. It's kind of decommissioned, done with the whole racing part of its life, so it's been transformed into a bit of a fun modified tuning car. Next to it, this is the P1 Composites HTO Huracan Evo. This is a twin turbo street spec car, believe it or not. Runs 1,000 horsepower tune, so obviously getting a bit of extra boosted horsepower out of the V10 setup, but as you can tell, it's so extreme. Talk about building a race car for the street. And as we keep going, you see a selection of cars are pretty mental. We've got a beautiful yellow Diablo here. We have an SVJ Aventador, and then two cars that I didn't really expect to find here in Thailand. We have a Maserati MC20. I don't even see many of these in Tokyo. They're not really selling or doing too well in most areas by, you know, the simple fact that it does cost a ton of money, pretty much Ferrari money, and a lot of people in this kind of market probably go for that. Another surprise, the Alpine A110. These are super popular in Japan, but I believe there's only 2 of them here in Thailand. Over here we have blue NSX. This is actually a car we saw when I visited AutoWorks. This is a car that's kept there at the vault, and of course sitting on HRU wheels, which is a brand that they carry. Got an SLS AMG Black Series, Ferrari 512M, and to end up this first lineup, we have a Diablo E30. Now, right behind it, I almost lost it when I saw this. Can you make that out? Oh yes, let's go over to the front and take a look. Another thing about this show is that along with myself, Larry, as kind of guests of the show, we have Manabu, Orido and Keiichi Tsuchiya right behind me. They're also part of, I guess, the celebration here in Thailand of car culture. They're going to be doing some drifting, doing some talk show, meeting all the fans here in Thailand. And as you can tell, there's a lot of off-roaders here. Right behind me is a Toyota Mega Cruiser, single cab pickup version, AMG 4x4 squared, and even an H2 Hummer EV, or Hummer EV, whatever they call it. But this is what I came here to see. The BMW M1 race car. Now this is something insane. Now for some strange reason, this is actually a legit race car from the early 90s, but it has gone through an engine swap. It does not run a straight six, it actually runs the S14 engine, 4-cylinder category here in Thailand back in the day. Even though it doesn't have that straight six in the back, it still looks absolutely mental. One of the coolest, most beautiful designs ever. We keep going, and there's a bunch of other race cars here. 320i E36, actually two of them. We got another BMW E46. This was from about 12 years ago. The local GT class was running these, and then we get to a 190 Evo DTM inspired build. You can see the famous Sonax livery sitting a tad high. We keep going here. We have an R33 GTR Endless Super Taikyu car, and then the car that kind of disappeared from the track day that I visited the other day in Buriram. This is the Terra T63, Thailand's first supercar, very lightweight, single-seater, crazy little production car that is soon to be released. They're actually working on a second car. Hopefully they open up the back and we can see what the engine is all about. Cayman, the GT4 race car. And you know, there's a lot of racing that happens in Thailand. People really do have quite the passion here for motorsports, which is great to see. And that stretches even to proper powerboats here. I'm not sure what kind of series this participates in or participated in, but what a crazy addition to the show to see these monster boats. And this is something that's very much representing what Thailand is all about. Strange things that we have never seen. This is from the Super Pickup D1 Thailand series. This is based on a Gazoo racing version of the Toyota Hilux Champ. So a pickup race car, something different. And you can see that is also available with the Isuzu trucks. And right next to the pickups, something completely different. We have a Velside Fortune FD and a beautiful FD that we actually saw at AutoWorks, another car sitting on HRE rims. So as ever at events, my main enemy are the PA systems. They're doing some Gymkhana in the center drift track that they've prepared, and I'm trying to stay away from the PAs as much as I can. So next up, we're going to check out the sponsor booths here, check out all the brands that are imported into Thailand, some of the cars that they built and look after, as well as a bit of a mix of classics. So lots to see in here, starting off in the Bridgestone display. We've got a nice Evo 5 here, another Evo here in the middle, but behind this massive line of people is something that you won't be surprised that I'm attracted to. This is a fully Nismo restored R34 GTR. You can see it even has Yomori factory sticker there on the side. Clubman racing spec with an R2 engine setup. So all the goodies fitted to this GTR. A great example of the appreciation that Thai people really have for building legit cars with legit parts and products. Here are some of the classic Porsches on display here at the Tross Pro booth. And we'll get in here and check out the AutoWorks booth, which has a lot of modern day tuning parts for the main kind of European cars that they deal with. As you can see, they bring in all sorts of products like Sparco, Venturi, CSF, radiator stuff, and a Krapovich exhaust, all the goodies you would ever need to modify your G-Series BMW M4s or M3s. They even have an Urus, Lamborghini Urus here with the Venturi intake, which I didn't even know they released yet, so cool to be seeing this here at the show. And here's that 992 GT3 RS that was at the track day I went to. This is another car that AutoWorks stores and looks after. And then just to kind of continue on the thing I was saying earlier, you know, there's a lot of race cars that are on display because series like the GT4, so with the Hachirokus and Supras, it's a popular way to get into motorsport, as well as the smaller Honda cups that they have here, the Super Touring Championship. You see a lot of variety of stuff. And here's yet another example with the Be Quick team display here. They're kind of giving you the perfect representation of the various series that are happening here in Thailand. And check this out, even Greddy has a little booth here at the venue showcasing all the official products they import from Japan. So the GRD6 and the Suzuki Jimny. It's kind of like being back in Japan. I feel right at home here. And the cool thing is a lot of guys from Greddy, Japan have actually come over. So really embracing the Thai kind of tuning culture. So I think from this perspective, you get a really good idea of the waterfront location of the whole venue here. We have the drift track in the middle. And we'll be seeing either Manabu Orido or Keiichi Tsuchiya drifting. And then there's a bunch of these kind of like cars, cartoon inspired cars. We actually saw one of these, I think the Celica based one over there at AutoWorks. They store that car there. And like I mentioned today, is kind of focused on classic cars. So there's a lot of classic goodness to look at, starting with this Jaguar E-Type here. Beautiful Ken Mary in dark blue, running a modified L series here. Triple Webers, got the Ken and Mary head cover, beautiful 356 here. And right behind here is an area I'm particularly interested in, the RWB crew. And I actually visited RWB Thailand. I went to see Chin, the man behind Auto House, the headquarters for RWBs here in Thailand. You know, probably the shop outside of Japan that has the biggest, longest history with RWB. The first outside of Japan RWB build was done here in Bangkok. So their lineup of cars are amazing to me because they really, you know, they really stay true to that kind of, I would say, late 2000, early 2010 kind of approach to doing RWBs. Very simple, not crazy when it comes to like wheel selection. They've stayed very true to the classic look with the Meisters, or maybe some more kind of classical wheels like this with the Fuchs in the back. But let's have a look at some of these RWBs. There's a bunch of really nice 964s. This looks very familiar. So many colorings and a bunch of backdates as well. This was also at the shop when I visited. We've got a really sweet Targa here. Another beautiful 964 based backdate. And you see what I mean here? Wheel selection on point. Big Brembo 6-spot calipers hiding behind there. Really sweet center exit exhaust setup. You got a little ducktail spoiler. Slightly older G-body here in red. This is probably one of the last ones that were built, Cinderella. It's got that kind of more modern livery approach to doing RWBs. 993, this is Chin's actual car, the first one to be made here in Thailand, or one of the first. It's got that LED off-road setup here with the lights at the front, and this is the very last one to be built. Nakai didn't actually build this 997 convertible. Chin actually took care of that himself, which again, when I was following Nakai-san basically developing the 997 package, his main idea was to create something that he could just literally ship off to people around the world and they could create themselves. Little did he know that people still very much want him to fly out and do the cars, you know, by hand himself, to kind of have that authenticity about them all. A bunch of cars going to the go-kart track for some display. They basically kind of divide into groups and then bring cars out to the track so that they can parade them around. There's a few more modern Porsches here. Another 992 GT3 RS there. Got another long hood backdate. And this is another cool car that we'll see in detail when it goes back to the Liberty Walk Thailand booth. This is the R32 GTR that they literally put together in about 4 or 5 days. I saw this car just when I landed here on Tuesday morning. It was pretty much stripped out R32 GTR shell, and they went ahead and fitted the full, fresh Liberty Walk conversion. That kind of shark nose front. Of course, this kit was actually unveiled at Tokyo Auto Salon this year. I did the shoot on that along with the Lamborghini Miura that they built. So again, kind of representing what people really like here in Thailand. They love to get inspiration from Japan and then create their own approaches to things. I'm going to head into the main pavilion area here, where today is all about classic cars, and let's see what has shown up. The fact that Alfa Romeos are this popular in Thailand blows my mind. It's so cool to see. We got a nice triplet of Giulias here. We have 2000 GTVs, and then of course the four-door. The police cars, we like to refer to this in Italy. All beautifully restored and kept. This one's still running on Steelies, but it's the orange Montreal here that blew my mind. I actually went for a ride with this car yesterday. Hey, what's up? Around the venue here. First time to actually jump into one of these beautiful Gandini designed creations from the early 70s. This particular car is in 1974. This was actually in Thailand for a very long time, and they found it semi-buried after a flood. It was literally covered with mud. It took 14 years to restore and bring it to this beautiful condition. It's actually 1972 as the number plate shows. And they actually did a really interesting conversion here on the fuel injection. They went from an old school mechanical setup to a more modern electronic controlled system, which makes the engine run far better. They upgraded all the cooling so that it can run faultlessly here in Thailand's incredible heat. As you can tell, I'm always sweating when I come here to Southeast Asia. I'm just not built for this type of climate. Got some beautiful Mercedes here. They're 190, and this is a big surprise for me. I had no idea I would see an actual 300 SL Gullwing. This is close to $10 million car, probably more these days. And just look at the quality of this. Beautiful, beautiful car. You can see it has kind of like a little flip down system for the steering wheel, so you can actually get your legs through the big massive sill here down into the footwell. Beautiful design. Iconic car, and a big surprise for me to see here in Thailand. And when it comes to surprises, check this thing out. This is a Mercedes 600 Pullman, the limousine version. This was a car that was literally only sold to like heads of state. An incredible thing to be seeing. And if you know your classic cars, you know just how special this thing is. Man, it's such a crazy mix of cars. Look at this. This is a Citroen CX Prestige. Slammed down on the hydraulic suspension these cars came with from factory. Of course, this one feature that always identified Citroen as pretty much a luxury car brand. They had the smoothest ride. And right across from it, a nice mix of JDMs. There's a few RX-7s parked here. Let's take a look from the front. Stunning Aria Mimiya body kit. And the A-Spec, one of my favorite interpretations of the first generation of FDs. These things were sick with that crazy, strange fog light integration here in the bumper, all done by Mazda Speed, of course. And then we get to more unique stuff as we move down this lineup. There's some Volvos, 850s, and even older models. Crazy. And even a 240, sitting on some BBS rims. How sick is this? And as I speak, the drifting begins. It's just like a sensory overload, this show. There's so much happening at the same time. And we'll probably wait to head there until the kind of sun sets a little bit. The show really gets into its vibe once the light kind of fades a bit and the illumination takes over. It has a different vibe. It's kind of like representative of car culture here. And again, you know, cars always look sicker at night with illumination. And the JDM lineup continues. Evo 6, Toyota Altezza. We've got a TC, sick Hachiroku, and an FK Civic Type R. There's even a Daihatsu Japanese postal van here, sitting right behind this nice Mark II on SSRs. I found more FDs. Check this. So of course, Mamiya is very big here in Thailand, like most of Southeast Asia. And people really do rock that original style so well. Check out this period correct first gen Mamiya kit with a vented hood and the Mamiya wheels. So sick. And of course it's finished off with that really interesting design rear spoiler here that kind of circles the whole rear hatch. We got the Mamiya design badge there to certify that it's the real deal. And of course, the JDM is represented well throughout. Such a wide variety of cars. And check out all these Civics here. Let's go to the top of the lineup. There's like 4 FL5s here. This one's even running an Adrio bumper. And while Mamiya is popular, I'm always a massive fan of TCP Magic. They do such a cool aero conversion for the FD. Good to see one in Thailand. And actually, now that I remember, there's this blue FD that Kawato-san at TCP Magic is building, or has been building for the last 5-6 years at his shop. And it's basically a commissioned, full, you know, basically like body up restoration, customization project from Thailand. So eventually that car will be ending up here. And yes, of course, how could you possibly not find R35 GTRs at an event like this? Full top secret build, including carbon ceramic brakes with big endless calipers. Got the OZ racing wheels, and right next to it another Omori factory R34, followed by a red R33 GTR. I always love the red in 33s. It's a bit of a rare color. Got the Nismo LMGT4s with big AP Racing calipers right behind there. Got another white example here, kind of inspired on the 400R with the older GT1s. Same brake setup. Got the vented hood, the carbon Nismo blade for the spoiler from Sky Gallery. So let's keep going in order. We got the 233s followed by another beautiful 32 here for the full Nismo look. This car actually runs the endless monoblocks, but one little aero addition is from Top Secret, this finisher here on the rear fender, Nismo spoiler at the back. And then we see the older stuff here. We got a nice R31 Skyline to kind of start off the generation lineup here, right down to this insanely crazy creation, R31 done in a Kaido racer style. They even put the cones here to make sure people don't step on that protruding lip. The Deppa spoiler. And of course, it's gotta have the Takeyari at the back. Pretty sick setup that goes pretty much 2.5 meters in the air. More Nissan, final Nissan for the lineup. This beautiful S30 240Z. And you know, kind of among the mix of JDM stuff that you would see at so many other shows around the world, it's these kind of cars that really stand out when I visit countries like Thailand. It's the local stuff, like this Hilux pickup truck, modified with two gigantic turbos sprouting out of the hood, and a little lobster tail exhaust. This thing is absolute craziness. Wide body all the way around. While the drifters go really hard, as you can hear behind me, I found this little other lineup of classic cars. With a sick Bentley, another crazy Bentley here. I'm not even sure what generation this is. Continental S1 from 1957. Massive coupe. Finishing off with an Alpina Z8 BMW, or at least the wheels are. The cars keep rolling in. We got that Sonax 190 parking up behind another 190 2.316. And just look at this selection of old stuff here. Got a nice old school Celica, a Mark II. We got the Burger King EG sedan, old school Honda Accord running the Jax livery from back in the early 90s. And look at these old school Volk Racing Trophy wheels. Got a Nissan Primera and another old school Honda from the early 90s. This is running the full Spoon Sport livery. NK wheels, endless brakes. The selection is really like a big automotive cocktail. There's even a Citroen. It's a Saxo, wide-bodied. Another Celica. Just keeps going. Slammed Lexus. The Toyota Celsior here on Carlson wheels. Followed by a Toyota Aristo, Lexus GS, and the two 190s. But of course there's more. There's three more over here, all liveried up. And a few more old school JDMs, 11 over fenders, ending up with the little T27. And I just noticed it actually runs a Mazda Roadster engine. So the thing about Thailand, something I've noticed, is that you should never really walk past the car and assume, because you never know what's going on. It could be like a replica, a custom frame running some other crazy engine, like we saw with the Lamborghini, with a 500-600 horsepower K-series swap from the FL5. It's just, the ingenuity here to kind of like customize and push the envelope and just do something crazy with the stuff that they have available to them. So the variety continues. Look at this, a Peugeot 405, another Pininfarina design from the late 80s, early 90s. Pickup version of a Landy 6 Supra, running the Hinomaru flag on the side, just like the 240 behind it, on Watanabe wheels. I have absolutely no idea what the hell this is. Obviously based on the local pickup. It's crazy. The E36 is coming in. Even a compact on raised wheels. We got an old Mark II on Skyline wheels. Even more E36s. Rocking a nice R34 GTR from Top Secret here. So You know when I was saying that you should never really walk past a car here in Thailand because you never really know what you're actually looking at. You might assume that this is just a Liberty Walk kitted SVJ Aventador, but take one peek inside and you realize it's actually a Honda Civic dashboard completely grafted into the custom chassis here. And I've been told that this is actually powered by a Galant engine setup. Can't really see it through the back here, but it's mid-mounted back there, so V6. Is it twin turbo? Automatic transmission. This is so cool. Talk about creating custom works of ingenuity. I mean, who the hell would ever come up with doing a custom Aventador that looks exactly like the real car from the outside, and then you kind of dive deep and you discover there's something completely different and custom inside. Right next to that, this insane D-Max. Completely shaved engine blade. Look at the work that has gone into this setup. Like, you just don't come across stuff like that in any other countries. And of course, the turbo is not the only thing that's supplying extra power. There's two nitrous tanks in the back here. Another crazy Thai creation here. What a way to arrive at an event. Bringing all your top secret gold collection here.
เจ๊เข้ามาด้วยเจ๊มาคุมเจ๊บอกเชิญอีกแล้วเหรอเจ๊สวัสดีครับเดี๋ยวตัดมาเลยครับเจ๊ตัดเลยครับสูงพี่เลยตัดเลยครับตัดค่ะโอเคครับโอเคถอยโอเคสวยซ้ายหักซ้ายโอเคซ้ายก่อนซ้ายสุดเลยซ้ายสุดขวาสุด
Wait, there's more. There's even the Z33 over there coming in now. Probably by now this is one of the most recognized car collections in Thailand. Check out the commotion over these 5 top secret cars. The crowd is like 10 deep. Okay, this is something that just blew my mind. I can't even believe this is a thing. This truck, if you take a closer look at it, you'll notice some interesting things like the gigantic scoop here for air that feeds the massive straight 6 diesel engine that sits right here in the back of the cab. This is one of those big diesel engines that would come out of a big Hino truck. We'll go check that out later on, but basically this is built for drag. You can see how the fenders are tubbed here in the bed. Crazy full customized thing. You can actually open the door and take a look inside. It really has a bit more impact during the night because it's all lit up. We've got 2 Recaro bucket seats, got nitrous, full carbon fiber trim right across the door panels into the dashboard. All the gauges you would ever need. Absolutely wild. Again, hinting that Thailand really has lots of surprises in store when you come and visit shows like this. Look at the size of the turbo there. But it gets even crazier because this Hino truck here, which is actually probably what you would call Thai's take on the Japanese Decotora style, is actually transporting a race combine harvester. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of anything like this, but apparently they race these things here in Thailand. Fully customized. You can see the driver's cab up there. Look at all the color coordination across the different components and the big engine. Actually, we'll go to the other side because you can see the combined turbos here. Look at that thing. That is just craziness. Absolutely wild. I had no idea this was a thing. And it's great that they're combining this as part of the show because who would ever know this happens in Thailand? But the funny thing is, it doesn't just end there. they do some rather interesting stuff when it comes to kind of like this farm type equipment. Of course, like most of Asia, rice plantations are a thing. And why not race the actual machinery used to, I guess, plant rice? This thing here is a race planter with the engine setup right there. Look at the turbo, or the exhaust setup rather. So basically what they do is they connect the mounting there to this massive chassis that comes out here, and the people stand and hold on to the bars here. You got the throttle, and they race these things. You see the metal wheels with the big scoops to get grip in the flooded fields. And they even built up a little custom transporter with it, running on some fake T37s, and a little tractor engine. And a little touch of JDM there with a Honda steering wheel. I've never seen anything like this. So unique. Right next is this. This is a race version of a tuk-tuk. Completely customized. They even allowed the engine to be visible through Perspex cover there. You see the little headers peeking through there. And you basically sit and launch this thing down the strip. And the funniest thing is the oh shit handle. Look at this. All fabricated out of stainless steel and billet aluminum. What a sick thing to get a ride in. So when I saw these stacks of speakers, I just assumed they were here for the PAs or the music. But they're actually part of these pickups beds. They fold down flat to the surface behind the truck to basically create a wall of sound. Look at this craziness right here. And this is one car I was really hoping to see here in Bangkok. This is Chad's E92 swapped E30 BMW 3 Series with a Pandem kit. This car is pretty famous if you check out all the content he does on his channel, CB Media, sitting on a set of OZ Futuras. Fully customized thing. Side exit exhausts. A little ductile in the back. One of these guys on each side. And beautiful engine bay. We'll hopefully get to see that later on. Completely shaved. Custom creation. Nicknamed the Cream Pie. And Liberty Walk is a brand that's enjoying a lot of success here in Thailand thanks to the guys from Infinite Motorsport. They have a nice booth here highlighting some of the builds that they've created. Got a bit of everything, if not everything. 35 GTR, Supra. They even have this Fairlady Z350Z Roadster with the Yokohama Advan livery. The wide body 997 cab. And inside here under the main display is where the R32 GTR we saw earlier on is usually sitting. It's currently being used for some other promotion in another area of the show. This is one car they just finished building for another big collector here in Thailand, Heng's Garage. Crazy FD, full silhouette conversion, finished off in a nice flat gray. Right next to the S15. Coming right here to the other side, we see the other car that they built for the show. This R34 silhouette formula creation. Finished off in those iconic racing stripes. And while, you know, big, expensive show car builds are fun, it's always cool to see what the smaller guy is able to create. And this particular area of the show is filled up with just such cars. We're going to take a quick look through this very loud area, so I do apologize if you can't hear me very well. Check this 300 series Mercedes with a big twin turbo V8. A very sedate looking E34. Another Infinite Motorsport build. Actually, this is probably one of the coolest Jimneys ever created. I do love the livery. The color on this is spot on. And it's functional, totally drivable, and of course they actually use this properly. Good to see this at the show. See so many pictures of that Jimny online. It's good to see it in the flesh.
เข้ามาอีกคันหนึ่งแล้วครับสีเขียวนะครับ
Lotus Evora here.
มาแล้วนะครับนี่ภาพแบบนี้ไม่ได้หาดูง่ายๆนะครับ
Triplet
บันทึก
EG
ภาพได้เลย
Civics.
ครับบันทึกภาพแล้วก็ถ่ายรูป
Apologize for the music.
คันต่อไปครับเป็น
It's a bit overwhelming. Check out these two old school Golfs. Sick SW20 from Border, old school JDM shop. And we continue with a lineup of BMWs, mixing a bit of new and old. Ending up with some taxis. I don't even know if these are real, but I do like the modified taxi look. And how about this for a bit of a surprise spot? The Velside importer has brought out a Supra that has been in Thailand for over 10 years. This is an original Yokomaku build from back in the day. Still running the full Velside kit. Really cool to be seeing these golden builds from back in the day here in Thailand. And if you want to see something that really dates the engine work, check out that twin top mounted setup with the two wastegates right next to the turbos, running some old IHIs, SARD piping. This is just how they used to build cars back in the day. And next to it, a Velside kitted R32 that was actually built here in Thailand, running a modern engine, rebuilt. It's got all the goodies like GT Plenum, HKS GT3 turbos. So it's stuck to the twin turbo setup, but it's got that iconic old school exterior with that legendary aero bumper. That Yokomaku design basically for the Yatabe 0 to 300 km/h runs. Old school Velside 5 spokes, Velside seats. Kind of a time capsule, but refreshed to take into account some of the evolutions in RB tuning. So in this rather quiet area of the show, we found a nice little group of Sunnies. Again, another example that, you know, Thai people are pretty much just like the Japanese. They're so into everything and anything. And all these Sunnies are like fully built. This one's actually running a lot of Tome parts, as you can see on the cam cover there, a little 4-cylinder. And this beautiful T37 Sprinter is running a very clean engine setup, all built and restored here in Thailand. And along with these classic cars are some nice rare Euros, like this super clean 997 turbo. Maybe you can spot it already. Is a 993 RS. It won't get cooler than this. Probably the best interpretation of the NA air-cooled era here when it comes to picking the best of the bunch. My other favorite would be the 993 GT2. It was never actually called GT2, but it was basically the homologation car for the GT2 class. Pretty much cementing two of the best air-cooled cars ever created. We've got another 997 turbo and a 964 with a nice setup of lights here. These two cars actually belong to the organizer of Impact Speedfest, and he actually runs the exact same RWB whale tail spoiler that I run on my car, and that's because he used to be an RWB owner himself. Here's another really cool finding. I actually saw this car yesterday, but it didn't have the engine on display. It actually runs the Datsun Works 24 valve head, which of course means the L series gets to have the exhaust on one side and the intake on the other, so the 3 Webers are on the opposite side. Obviously frees up a ton of response and power, better flow, and I love Hayashi racing wheels on this, and the coloring is on point. You see Orido here being stormed by the fans. He's just gotten done with his drift demo. Right, and over on the waterfront section here, a bunch of Lamborghinis have assembled. Got a Murcielago all the way to Huracans and some Aventadors, right down to what must be one of a handful of Revueltos that have landed here in Thailand. Finished off in yellow, kind of matches the chairs actually. Insane looking thing. And as ever, every time I see one of these things, I always do wonder, how can the engine take all the weathering being completely exposed here? As you can see, it's starting to rain now. It's an interesting solution there, not having a transparent engine cover. Next up here is a really nice collection of classics from Collins. This is a very famous restorer and classic car dealer here in Bangkok. They have a nice selection of cars. Let's have a look at what they brought. Start down here. We got a E30 completely opened up Landy E30 M3 2002. Look at this beauty on some SSR mesh wheels, 355 Spider, and this stunning 1975 930 Turbo. This is of course the original Widowmaker with a 4-speed and this crazy tire setup. I just love the chunky sidewall on these things. It's got the harmonica bumpers and sitting right next to this pristine 912. Let's take a look inside here. We have a nice 348 TS sitting on some Speedline Corse wheels. Right next to the Ferrari is this beautiful 1963 Bentley S3 Continental fixed head coupe. And I mentioned there's only a handful of Revueltos here in Thailand, and another one's rolling in. So quiet. Well, here we are. It's nice and dark now and things are getting pretty rowdy. We got Mr. Beer here with his top secret collection. He's gonna have all his cars taken into the go-kart track for a little display session. It's pretty crazy that you get to see so many iconic top secret cars in one location. And the man himself, I believe, is behind the wheel of the GT300 Supra. Jeez, blew my eardrum apart. And the you got the Brabus G-Wagon with all the camera guys filming in style. But it's a disappointingly slow parade. Of course, it's only for the videos and pictures. So different from Japan. They really do love the rowdy stuff here. You could never get away with doing stuff like this in the middle of a city in Tokyo at night. All right, back here at Liberty Walk. Looks totally different during the night with the illumination. It's a sick display, and there's been an arrival here, a Huracan with the full wide body conversion. Of course, like we saw before, we have Peng's Garage FD, the S15 and the ER34 Skyline. But it's actually the really Thai things that I showed you before that I want to go back and see, because, like I mentioned, when the lights are on, things get a little bit more visually pleasing. Let's go back and check out those trucks. Look at this stuff. It's absolutely wild. This is basically Thai decotora at its best. And of course, the one that's actually transporting the modified combine harvester. I actually didn't notice before, but check out the exhaust system on this truck. And they're all functional, and it stinks of diesel. Crazy stuff. And there's been an addition of a hell of a lot more cars. This whole area, these are pretty much the user cars, as you could call them, is absolutely brimmed full of all sorts of cars. Right in front of the main stage area, you can see back there. There's so many FD RX-7s here. See, the entire waterfront area has been filled up with cars. There's even little food stalls here. And it is a crazy party. Beautiful atmosphere, so chilled. Even American cars. A Challenger of all things. And check out this S2000 here with a transparent hood. Turbocharged for extra show. And then we have the area here with the Porsches from RWB. Kind of ending for today, day 2 of Impact Speedfest. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to check things as they change. Of course, there's going to be a swap of cars in some of these areas, so we get to see a true representation of what Bangkok car culture is all about. And we'll be back soon. Right now, boom, we are at day 3 here at Impact Speedfest. We got some drifting pretty much going on the entire day here. It is Sunday, it's the second day. It's kind of going into the sunset. I'm just always surprised how late shows get going here in Southeast Asia because of the heat. Every day a new kind of lineup of cars comes in on the lower area here in front of the main stage. So we're going to check out what is on display today. Starting off with this beautiful area here on the waterfront, where all the guys from AutoWorks have arranged some of their HRE equipped cars to come here and show off. And of course, this is something I've seen at RWB Thailand, a couple of lifted Cayennes over there, proving that this is a cool thing to be doing with your older or even newer Cayenne, lifting them up, running off-road wheels and tires. There's a lot of Porsches today. We have a lot of new stuff with a few older cars mixed in, just like this beautiful example from Team VCR, BangkokClassicCar.com. Sick. Look at this 993 turbo. Roof wheels, this could actually be a roof car. So sick. And speaking of roof, I'm actually going to be visiting the distributor here, Roof Thailand. So I'm going to get to see a lot more in that kind of general space of, like, you know, legit roof mods and complete cars. And variety continues. Okay, this is something quite interesting. Talk about taking the Kaido Racer approach. and injecting a hell lot of Thailand culture into it. I don't know what's going on here with the intakes. Is this a V6 probably? Exhaust, Gundam helmet, and a bit of a mix with Itasha and some colorful Takeyari at the back. So sick. As the drifting continues right behind me here, I'm gonna bring the coverage of this year's Impact Speedfest to a close. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did checking out Thai car culture. I think this is the first of many more events to come from the guys here at Impact. They have created a real cool outlet for people to meet and kind of show off the cars that they build, and also for local shops to show off the work that they do, their capabilities, and I think it's gonna help Thai culture to grow even further. They already have a very unique flavor and taste in doing cars, taking inspiration from Japan and other countries, and I think they have created one of the most interesting car cultures here in Southeast Asia. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the coverage. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check back soon for more.